carnival or smorgasbord type thing, atmosphere. Just all different things were going on.
Central Avenue even had its own mayor, Esvin Mosby.
The most popular businessman who was elected the mayor of Central Avenue. I ran 3 clubs. During those days, we did a lot of gambling and booking and stuff like that. I was the in-between for the mayor in Central Avenue because I was down there on the spot. And I used to put on benefits at the Lincoln Theater Christmas time for the poor people. And I had different parades on Central Avenue. We didn't have the gangs like they have today. Things were very cool on the Avenue. There was no robbing, no thugging. I also organized the first special officers to farm in California. My brother, Curtis Mosby, he was here in California at the time. He owned the Club Alabama. He hired more black people than any company in Los Angeles. We had like 16-piece band on the stand. We had 12 course girls in the lineup. We had comedians. We had ventriloquists. We had shake dancers. We had tap dancers. We had about 300 people working for us or more. Our patronage was 2/3 white. And Frank Sinatra go up on stage and sing, like, you know, amateur nights. After the show, the entertainers would push a piano out on the floor, and they would sing to the customers different numbers, you know. I mean, numbers like, if I can't sell it, I'm going to keep sitting on it. I am giving none of it away.
That was the great Alabama.
Why
That's
am
where
I
you can see the town's name.
so melancholy? Why
One of the first name bands that I was singing with was Andy Kirk, Clouds of Joy, at the Alabama on Central Avenue. And that was the end of, coming into the end of the era.
without you?
It was really a black and tan, the Club Alabama. Many of the performers, Lena Horne came to hang out, and Fats Waller would come and hang out at a place called Brothers.
Brothers was a kind of a place where he was a queen, but the decor, Chinese decor, he used to wear these robes and things, and any night you could be there sitting there and singing. In lieu of instruments, be sing sessions. This began in the 30s, early 30s. Prohibition was still in existence. And you'd buy this bathtub gin, all wrapped up in bottles with bootleg.
This house right here was the greatest gambling house in the world. And everybody gambled in that house, from Don Roby to T-Bone Walker to everybody, up for days. Don Roby would sit at the table in there and have a little black bag of money, thousands of dollars, and if he'd lose that money, he'd leave them there and go out to LAX and catch a plane and go back to Texas and get another bag and then still be playing when he come back. Come back and break them.
Howard Hughes used to come to the club in his tennis shoes. A livery limousine sitting out in front all night long.
Stephen Pettit, he used to come to the club with 6 Cadillacs. He'd ride so far in one of his cars, and then he'd get in another, all them different colors, you know. During those days, people like Jimmy Witherspoon and Ernie Andrews, they were all striving to be top performers, you know. And Ernie was a nice-looking fellow, and he used to come here all the time, and we used to talk quite a bit. During the time, I put a last word. People like Amos Milburn and Stephen Samuel Davis Jr. and his dad and his uncle, they worked for me at the last word.
The last word.
Why am I
And then,
so melancholy?
right across the street over here was the Downbeat. That's where Gerald Wilson's band, Johnny Otis had a club right here. With sawdust on the floor. And across the street was Ivy Anderson's Chicken Shack. And then down the street on Central Avenue was Lovejoy's. Upstairs, around the corner, upstairs. And that's No. We talk about around the corner at Vernon Central upstairs with Lovejoy.
Yeah, right.
Right. Right.
That's where the group started in there, because Art Tatum used to come in there every night, and this was the place that where Fats Waller used to hang out. You know, all you'd have to put in front of Art was a big bottle of Pabst beer. That's when the beer was in the big bottles. And when Fats would walk in, it was Haig and Haig.
I can't think, was it not the Trianon Ballroom? It was the ballroom out no, out here. Do you remember, Bill?
Avedon.
No, the Avedon was downtown, remember? Yeah, but the Cotton Club? No, the Trianon was out in Southgate.
Don't let the sun catch you crying at my front door. You done daddy dirty, he sure don't want you no more. Don't let the sun catch you lying at my front door. Daddy done turned salty.
Joe Green. I needed one more song at a record date, and I was something like 19 years old at the time, and he says, we'll have one for the date tomorrow. And he went home and he wrote a song called Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying.
Yes, baby, you can well beat your head on the pavement till the man comes and
How you doing? How you doing? All right? Hey, the Jungle Room was right here, wasn't it? Right. It's down already. Right here, this lot was a place called the Jungle Room. That's where I got married 36 years ago.
I started working at the Jungle Room as the cashier, and Ernie came in, and he said to me, I said to him, would you sing me a song? If you sing me a song, I'll give you a kiss. And I didn't know he was going to take me up on it. So he went up and he sang the song, and he came back and he said, where's my kiss? So I kissed him on the side of the cheek. Like he said, no, not that kind of kiss.
I know a lot of marriages would have gone down the wayside by now, in my case. So she allowed me to be who I was ever since day one.
When I would get frustrated and say, well, he stayed out so late and blah, 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 she said, you knew he was an entertainer when you married him.
He is. And they were up in age now. And I think about them of how great they were in their day. And how the people cheered and the glamour of it all. And today, maybe 40 years later, 50 years later, how easily they forget. I miss Harry James. I miss all of these great people. I miss many people, but thank God we're still here, right?
Yeah.
No kidding.
We're trying to carry on where they left off. And the thing about it that is so sad, Ernie, I don't know anybody that can take their place. When a band leader dies like Basie, or Duke, it's like cutting the head of a snake off. The tail dies. I joined Count Basie in 1939. I was lucky enough at the time. Said, let's get Harry Edison. My name wasn't Sweets at the time. That was in 1938.
Yeah.
Who gave you the name Sweet?
Lester Young.
Yeah. The Fred. Yeah.
A little girl that became the only one of her kind And the only one that will ever be of her kind was the vocalist with Count Basie. That was Billie Holiday.
You got that right.
Press gave her the name Lady Day. And a gentleman named Tiny Brown. Sang the blues. He's the one that gave Count Basie the name Count.
Okay.
At one time, you could turn on the radio and you could tell the difference between a white band and a black band. The white band had a kind of a different rhythm, but they used to sit on the stand and write down different licks that the trumpet player might play or a trombone player might get. He'd write it on his cuff. See, that's what changed the whole situation. And it made show business good in a lot of ways, but still. The white person, they got the benefit of the doubt because they learned from us and they took what we knew and went on.
Can't even think of the joint used to be here. It was a hell of a joint. That was the Musicians Union. Now it's a discount, woman's discount apparel.
The black union on Central Avenue was called Local 767. The white union was in position to take all the better jobs and also dictate to the black union what jobs they should take. Mingus did a job with Billy Eckstein's band, and he was the only black hired, and he screamed. A couple of the guys there were very nice to him, and we all got together, and we started the ball rolling with about 4 or 5 people. And I said, we'll form a big orchestra, like a symphony orchestra, so we can start training our people, because the music was very difficult. We didn't know what to do at first. It looked one way and it sounded another way, because it was like a new language. We didn't finally move 76.7 until probably 1953, but the talking was in the air. It was a period that things were changing anyway, and as the schools began to pop up because of the GI bills and things like that, they were in different areas, and we were all discovering there were other places to play. Central changed a lot. That was the change. Growth.
There's anyone or anything forever. And then when it started to fall, it fell real bad.
I think that I can explain the deterioration of Central Avenue. The police department mostly closed up Central Avenue as far as the intermixing and things like that.
I think there was some harassment, too, with the police and some of the authorities who didn't like the idea of people, especially the young white ladies, coming down and mingling in the clubs.
And the police department would hire most of their policemen from down south. They was pretty rough. They were pretty prejudiced.
When those clubs closed, there was no reason to come over to Central Avenue anymore. So it just went out of business.
The Whites Riot, that was one of the things that really did it, because they burned up a lot of the places all along Central Avenue. Central Avenue became just another street.
I'll forget. I will, and yet you are still burning inside my brain. Romance is mush, stifling those who strive. I'll live a lush life in some small dive, and there I'll be where I'll rot with the rest of those lives were lonely.
There's a lot of people that once they hit the stride, they feel that it's forever. But just like you went up, that's the way you got to come down.
Ernie had a contract, and it wasn't even worth the paper it was written on. Ernie was being ripped off, period, as far as I was concerned. Ernie and I went to this attorney and had her read the contract. The people who he had the contract with got angry with me, you know, because I had taken him there. They didn't want him to record for anybody. Ernie was blackballed.
treat everybody like he wished to be treated. No good today. Treat those that treat you good, treat them good, and then or either get out of their way. Don't hurt them. Don't be cruel. Because it gets to the point where one will tell two, and two will tell five, and five will tell 10, and 10 will tell 20. And then all of a sudden, you're a beast, and you don't even know why. Why? Because these people will hurt you. I don't know anywhere in the United States or out of this country that you could go, I don't feel within myself. I might be taking a big bite of this. That could say too much about me as far as people are concerned. I want you to know that's a good feeling, is to be able to go anywhere in this world and not have a problem.
Where have I been?
I never really talked to Ernie about this, but I knew that it got very quiet for him for a long time. Now, he had to be amazing to handle it as well as he did, because it's kind of like starting all over in a way.
A Monica to work in this club for $6 a night. $6 a night.
The ones who tried to just make it with jazz and practicing, they did get broken hearts in a way, or they were very disillusioned and disappointed. This is Hollywood. This is a capital of the movies. When we were around in '46, for the period when I was around Parker, he worked one night a week, maybe Jack's Basket Room or something for $25. But he didn't do any commercial thing. He was one of the greatest alto players of all time, and there was nothing for him to do. One time we had him over for dinner, and I had just started on Groucho Marx, and I was being, you know, paid pretty well at that time for doing a half-an-hour show a week. And as we talked, and we were drinking cognac and having all kinds of great food, Parker looked at me and he said, "I wish I could be like you." And I said, "You wish you could be like me?" "I wish I could be like you," meaning the way that I could play. But I think what he meant is that I had figured a way how to fit into all this.
There's certain rooms that you can go into and you'll get the money, but it's the wrong place. So you get the money, you don't draw anyone, and you don't get in. You don't get no action. And you wonder what happened to you. Because the people that love you didn't come to this place. See, so there's a certain room that you should be in, you be in that room. I take them all. I don't be too happy all the time, but I take them all.
Hurry, 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 take a train. You'll find it, you'll get where you're going in a hurry. Well, if you should take the air train, you'll find it, the city's awful pretty. But don't walk, don't walk, don't walk, don't walk, sweet young girlfriend. Hey, baby, well, don't want you just messing around, 'cause you gotta take the air train in a hurry. Take the air train. You get to Sugar Hill in a Harlem. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sweet and gentle, the way she should.
I have 4 boys and a girl from 33 to 22, and 4 granddaughters and 1 grand boy. No, tough raising a family. You love raising a family. You understand? It's just when they start talking back, then it gets crazy. Sometimes you would take 2 steps and you bring your family up 1. That way you wouldn't leave them behind, and you go for fame and fortune and then have nothing. Hey, Marky, you like that? Little man, you're crying. What more can I say? Someone stole your kitty cat away. You better go to sleep now. Little man, you've had a busy day. That's Daddy's little boy. They all had dancing lessons. They all had horn lessons, piano lessons. Somewhere along the way, they fell away. You don't push kids to do what you want them to do. They do what they want to do, and they do it well, whatever it is. Rob banks, they got to be good ones. That's all I tell them. Whatever you do, be good and suffer the penalties and the consequences. That's what I've done all my days. That's all I've ever known in my life, is sing and sing. I just sing and sing and sing and sing.
Did you say I've got well, don't think I'm trying. Since this is the perfect
Rock and roll came, and then after that it was rhythm and blues. And I really tried to make a change just to give it a shot, but it just didn't feel right with me. Well, you gotta please people, you know, to a point, but then you must please yourself.
That's right.
You must please yourself. I've gotten that stigma of being arrogant and cocky, belligerent, over my days. I got it from you youngsters, too.
Come on in, please. Come on
I never wanted to take orders. I never wanted to play for the money that way. You know, I never wanted to be an Uncle Tom to life. It's freedom. People tell me, well, you're awful soft and you've been taking this route. And I just love to be free. I don't owe nobody anything. You agreed to make that record with me. You,
Scale.
yeah, for Scale. Yeah, you and Jimmy Forrest.
Right, for Scale.
Great. For Scale. I'll never forget this. All right. I know this.
The only thing you owe me is what we have. Friendship.
Well,
That's all
you're going to get.
Well, that's all I require.
Only once in a lifetime man knows moments. One wonderful moment when fate takes his hand. And this is my moment. Being in here with this miserable. Man, he's been my friend for so long and talks about me like a dog, Jack. And take me... Wait a minute, see that and just what you are. Now, why do I have to go through this? Why am I suggesting this? How you do this to me, sweet?
Well, you have to call them like they are. You're a real jazz singer. And if you hadn't been, I never would have consented to play on your recording for Scale.
I joined Harry James in 1959. Someone had heard a record that I had done called Roundabout Midnight with the Benny Carter Orchestra. And he liked it, and he asked me to join the band.
When Ernie left to go with the band, we all went to the bus. It was so funny. And I tell everybody, my husband worked for Harry James. My husband's with Harry James. I was so delighted. I just knew then that Ernie would hit the top. And I said to Ernie, I don't have to work no more. I can stay home with the children, and I carry it on, and I can wear this, and I can do this, and I can do this. And, of course, it wasn't like that.
And Harry didn't really use him correctly, and he didn't record very much with Harry, as Joe Williams did with the Basie Orchestra.
That's right.
And so he was, he was there because they wanted to have a male singer or something, and they made him sing all kinds of strange material that had nothing to do with Ernie Andrews.
Harry did not use the talent or the real talent of Ernie Andrews.
Let our love, let our love, let our
love same way, some midnight, some midnight. After you have been through this life, riding over that right wheel, front wheel for 10 years, I might be a little angry, but I don't feel that anyone did anything to me. Whatever happened to me, I did it to myself. I allowed it because I didn't have democracy, you understand? Jazz is a wonderful thing. You have to apply to play jazz. You have to know your music. You have to apply. I have nothing against rock or whatever. You have to have an energy for that, but not as much musically as you would have to play jazz. To play jazz, you have to know your instrument, you have to know your music, and you have to put it together, and it's a skill. You have to do it. Nobody want to work that hard.
Up by two whole waves of rioters. 7 of his teeth were kicked in, literally, just kicked right in. Both eyes were blackened, one eye still is closed. He was stoned, he was struck with a bottle, and